Good morning, traders. It's 28th October 2015, 8:30 a.m. IST, and welcome to Justfintech ProAMT Traders Digest. Let me go through the disclaimer first. Trading futures involves substantial risk of loss and not suitable for all investors. This video is for educational purpose only and not a recommendation to trade. Please consult your personal financial advisor or do your own research before taking any trades based on the levels discussed here. We are not responsible for any losses arising due to trades taken on the basis of these levels. The information in this video is in accordance with the terms and conditions, risk disclosure, disclaimer of justfintech.com. The SGX Nifty is trading at 8232, a bit down from yesterday's close. And yesterday we had a fall in the S&P 500 futures, and then it recovered in the late trade. So S&P 500 is trading quite flat. The 2-day FOMC meeting has started yesterday, and the press release expected at night. So maybe S&P 500 will remain a bit range bound, and then after the press release may give another violent move. Let's see what Nifty did yesterday. So what I was expecting is open within the range and then either go up to find sellers at 8,300 and then push back, or open within the range and then start chop and start pushing down. But what we got is open auction out of range and out of value. It tried to, after opening, it tried to push up and then again started chopping in a very narrow range and pushed down, broke the initial balance low, and then again re-entered the initial balance, went back to break above the initial balance high, and then again entered and went sideways throughout the day, mostly trading at the lower range, and then finally towards the end it tried to push up above the IB, could not go above the IB, and then had a flat close at the VWAP of the day. So the close was negative, below the developing VAH and below previous day's value, though we are within the weekly values, and had a very narrow range. The volume was above the 5-day median but below the 20-day median. Let's have a look at Banknifty. Banknifty opened below the range, so it was an open auction out of range and out of value. Started pushing into the value, again pushed back down from the from the previous day's point of control, and pushed back down, again chopped for a while, and then finally pushed above the IB high of the day, and could not breach the previous day's value area high. Again came back down within the developing value, started chopping, but unlike Nifty, this was chopping around the value area high and above the developing POC, so was trading sideways at the higher range. Again in the late trade it tried to push back above and break the day's high, could not do so, and then finally came down and just closed a bit above the VWAP. So same thing, flat close, but within previous day's value. We'll go through the long term chart of Nifty. So here we had expected yesterday that 8240, 8230 will act as an important support, important reference level below. See, this is the VH of this balance. So that acted as a support time being, and there are chances that we may rotate within this range, within this whole range till the expiry, because there are no events lined up apart from this FOMC minutes. There are no such important events to give any directional movement, and also due to the lot size increase going into the November expiry, retails would be cautious in rolling over their positions, because those holding one or two lots will have to compulsorily take position in a lot of 75 shares of Nifty. So if someone is holding 25, one lot as of now is 25, so somebody is holding 25 or 50, they'll have to roll over into a 75 size lot, which adds some extra bit of pressure in rollovers. So these rollovers may impact the overall movement, and maybe liquidity may pick up going into the second week, because what happens is, due to such big sizes, people may refrain for some time, but eventually I think that it won't be a big concern for liquidity. And also, there is not much of a lot size change in Banknifty. Banknifty is going from 25 to 30, so it's not much of a change, just 5 shares added in the next series, so that might not affect to the liquidity much. Let's have a look what Banknifty did. So here again, Banknifty is within this balance. It tried to push into this balance area, into this value, and again push back above that. So again it's trading above this composite value, above this micro composite value, but below the value of this gap down of 21st August. And it's important to get acceptance above the value area high of this gap down, else there are a heap of support stacked below, and till it doesn't go above this, there are resistances also. So maybe Banknifty also might be choppy till the expiry, and maybe after the rollovers are done and after the fresh contract starts, we may get some directional movement. Just wanted to show the TPO profile chart of Nifty. So here what I have done is merge this profile to make a balance. A merge, if you can see this. So here what has happened is, we are trying to build the value below this POC. The POC was stacked up, and finally we got a close here on 26th below that. So the close was inside this balance, and then now we pushed below the value area low of this balance, and then again the close is just at the value area low of this composite balance. So here, if we can see this single print, this is from where the auction broke out. So this single print at 8193, I have a 3 TPO size, so it's showing 8193. 8190 is a conservative reference because it was previous days POC as well. So the buyers need to protect this level on an intermediate term for the auction to have all the chances to go back up again. And once we go below this, we'll try to auction towards 8170 and then later 8127. Until then, there are fair chances that if we get acceptance within this balance, then we can march up towards 8286 and 8310. But till we are not accepting within this balance, we may rotate between these 2 points in a very narrow range bound move. Let us see the Nifty Renko chart. Actually I forgot to say that yesterday I was just going through the spot chart and was drawing some profiles on it. So would like to show everyone. Just waiting for the data to load. So here it is. This is the daily chart of the Nifty spot. If you can see here, and this is a time based profile, time based custom micro composite which I have thrown on it. We had established this lower balance. We broke down from this entire range and established this lower balance. Then once we broke above that, if we can see, we didn't even enter the range. We didn't even enter the range of that balance. The value area high was at around 7980. Excuse me. But after pushing above the developing value and above the range, we didn't even enter within this range, and then finally got accepted with this. We got accepted within this value. And now what has happened is on 26th we got rejected from the value area low of this entire balance, because when it made a open high of not actually a open high, though open was 8400 on the futures and the high was a freak high of 8723.85, but the actual trade which happened at 8339.75 and the previous day's high also at 8339.95. So yesterday I was just going through the charts and thought that there is something happening at those 8340 levels, though we had identified that as an important reference, but there should be something else what is stopping it from going above. And just took this spots data, and when I saw that, it gave a bit more conviction of the rejection, because it has rejected exactly from this value area low. So it adds confidence on going intra shorts, because yesterday what I was doing is was not interested to go long at lower levels. So when it gave a second test at 8251, I went short, because that was a very low volume rise, and though did not get much points of it, but in that very narrow range, that was all we can expect. And the option selling is in fact working better than the futures buy and sell, because the options are losing premium due to this grind in this narrow range. So we'll see what Bank Nifty did on this Renko. So we opened outside the range, but if we can see this, I'd thrown this custom profile here, and we tried to push below that value, but could not stay below it, and rejected and got within that value, tried to chop within that value, and then again finally pushed up towards previous days volume POC, pushed back down towards day mid, got rejected, and then finally went up, breaking the day's high and towards the previous day's volume based value area high. So twice the touch of volume based value area high, putting in a poor low or poor high. So expect that to be repaired today, even if we auction, because this is a important level of this contract. 17,900 is the volume based POC of the last 2 weeks. So in this 2 weeks we are actually trading within this narrow range, and we might go back above this and then again push down. The primary hypothesis today would be open within the range and try to push back above this high and get rejected somewhere here and push back, start sliding down towards yesterday's mid, and then maybe towards 17,750 and 17,700 zone. If we get acceptance below that, then start pushing down further. The second scenario is we open within range and just chop within this whole value and not give a breakout, or in the third case open outside the value, outside the range, try to push back above this zone, try to push back above the day mid, get rejected there and start pushing down further towards 17,650 level. So this 17,650 is the naked volume point of control from 21st October. So if we get acceptance below this low, if we break the low and stay below that, that would be the primary target towards the downside, and then this high volume node towards the downside, which is also coincides with the lows of 21st October. So that is what Bank Nifty can do. And on the upper side, actually, if we push above the highs and get acceptance above this, because it happens to be the value area of both these 2 days, and then the value area of this balance, we'll get accepted within this balance. And then if we push above this balance, then the primary target can be initially the recent high, and then this VPOC of around 18,160, 18,155 zone. Let's have a look at Nifty Renko. I'll just take the Nifty October futures contract because we had just put the spot on this. Takes a bit of time to load because it's tick data, so the file is quite huge and takes a bit of time. So let me go through the Renko. So here it is. So we opened outside of value, outside of range, chop, 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 and then try to push above. A failure there, came down, and again pushed back up fiercely. So if we can see this rotation, this rotation gave a hint that the buyers have a lot of interest left in buying the lows, and maybe we'll be able to get accepted within the previous day's value, but we didn't do so. And there was an aggressive seller at around 8267. So what I was watching for is, if we get accepted above that, then I would actually change my positions to longs, because if we see this, there was this congestion, and if we take the value of this congestion, it will be something around 8267. So it would actually match with that level which I was watching. So that didn't happen, and on this test I went short, because when this high was made, and actually the Renko gave a reversal, the point was that there was a lot of volume here. So when there is a lot of volume happening at some price, what I do is generally wait for the volume to dry up, and then see where it's going initially. If it goes up and is not able to break out, and then on the next negative Renko bar, I prefer to sell it. So on this negative Renko bar, when I sold, you can see that it doesn't even break the positive bar just below just before that. So that is just it's not a theory, it's just what I have observed, and just what I like to follow for the intra trades. And again, what I have been always saying, that I just take 16 points off the trade of the intra trade initially. So what we can expect today is either open towards the lows of the range, or open just below the range somewhere in this zone, and then try to push back within this value, reject from there, and start pushing down. Just zoom out so that we can see what are the areas of interest left. So if we start pushing down towards 8214, and then there is an important LVN at 8204, and then this HVN at 8195. So this 8195, as we had on that TPO chart which I was showing, so 8195, 8190 is again a very important support, both on volume profile as well as TPO profile. If we push back down here, it may try to reject from here and then push back above towards the highs of the day. But if we get accepted below that, then the auction might try to, there is a LVN here, below that we may try to go towards 8167, 8161, and then towards 8130 kind of zone. And then we have this VPOC left at around 8070 levels. We'll just go and look back. Where is that VPOC from? Oops, I think it's way back. So because this is a Renko, so not, so it's from 5th October. So that was the breakout from where we went into this higher balance, and then so since actually 5th October we have been just chopping around in a very tight range, of around 150 points. in fact, for like 3 weeks now. So that was the primary hypothesis, and the secondary hypo would be that we open somewhere here and then push back here, chop in this narrow range, again start pushing back up towards 8248, and then chop within that range, and if we get buying interest developing there, then break out towards 8285. The second hypothesis is very unlikely as of now, because there's nothing much going on which can give such a push. The auction has already turned weak, and that's why, depending on the weakness or strength of the intermediate trend, we should have hypos of where it might go and what it might do. Just to get a fair idea, again, as I have been saying, it's not necessary that market follows these levels. It is just a hypothesis based on the previous levels that what the auction might try to do. We should always see the developing values, the developing price action, and trade as per that. But obviously these areas are areas of interest and will keep on acting like supports and resistances. So I think that's all from me for today. Nothing much to say further. So we'll end up here. Thanks for watching and have a profitable day ahead. Thanks again.